So if you do have a question, just unmute yourself or wave your hand, or you can type it in the chat as well. All right, so welcome back, everyone. It's so lovely to see you all here again. And so first of all, so today, again, like yesterday, we're going to add another level to this exercise that we've been practicing. So before we do that, I want to check in with everyone, find out how you're doing. If you've got any specific issues that you would like to share and that we can help you with, and mostly how you're finding this exercise. So if you were able to practice yesterday's exercise over the last 24 hours, how that was for you, and if you have any challenges or any questions. So let's open the floor to that to begin with. So anybody want any advice or have a question? And for example, you can share if you were able to go through, if you were able to do the exercise or not, and how you found it. So someone in the chat says, a very powerful process. I feel so good. That is wonderful to hear. Thank you for sharing that. I'm so thrilled. Very good. And
I just wanted to add that in our little pre-session, one of the points that came up is that I resonated with doing this, getting started with the process, that I would forget to do it. So I know that was part of the conversation that came up earlier, that it's not a difficult exercise. It's not difficult to do, but the point was raised that I just forgot to do it.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And so that is one of the challenges. And, as I mentioned yesterday as well, is that was my biggest problem. I'd go through my day and I'd be triggered and, upset, and whatever would go wrong. And afterwards I go, oh, I've got this tool and I keep forgetting to use it. So I know I mentioned yesterday that you can put reminders in your phone. In addition to that, you can put Post-its around your home. So, pop a Post-it on the fridge, on the bathroom mirror, on the back of the bathroom door, on the coffee machine. So put it in different places. But here's a key to that being successful is keep moving the Post-its. So, because what we do is we get used to seeing it and then we ignore it. That's the same with all things in our environment. So the idea is to move the Post-it whenever you see it, so that you can surprise yourself. So you can put a little note in your shoe, in your pocket, in the coffee tin. So places where you'll discover it. You've forgotten it's there, and you open, and there's the thing. Oh, and then just stop right there and quickly do that exercise. As you know, it really doesn't take long. So you could, for example, when you go to make coffee, you open the coffee tin and there's the note. You could stop right there, put the lid back on, deep breath, color, hugging something I love, ba-ba-bom, just a few seconds, and then continue making your coffee. The same goes with all the other things you are already doing in your life, like going to the bathroom or, washing your hands. There you go. So you've got 20 seconds at least while you're washing your hands that you could be doing this exercise, right? And that kind of thing. So also, if you would share your ideas, that would be great as well. So these are some of my ideas, our ideas, but we would very much welcome your ideas of how you're remembering to do it, and the tips that you have for everybody else in the class. So that would be good. So so someone says, do you find this as effective as tapping if one is triggered? I was triggered yesterday and found it hard to shift to this state without tapping. So it depends. The thing with tapping, so for those who don't know what tapping is, so we're talking about meridian tapping, when you tap on the meridian points. Now, we don't use that anymore because we found we haven't needed to, but there's nothing wrong with using it. So you can use it. The trick is that tapping, like any physical activity, whether it's tapping or exercise or anything like that, can be used as a coping tool, but that doesn't actually pull you into good emotions. So it can be a distraction, and it's good for that. So as long as when you're tapping, you're also making sure that you're getting into a good state. So focusing on, so it's not the tapping that changes something, your chemical state. It's pulling your focus off the negative and onto the feeling of your fingers. That's how the tapping works. Okay, so you want to so taking out the instead of the tapping, imagining someone you love or your color is producing feel-good chemicals. So she says, I tapped first, then went into the love state. That's great. That's perfect. So whatever works for you. So for some people, tapping will help like that. For others, not. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes and not others. So do whatever it takes, basically, whether that's tapping or something else, to get to the point where you're able to get into the love state. Does that answer your question?
I'll just throw in my 2 cents that I know from past experience that when you get hit by something that throws you into a deeper trigger, especially as you're learning these exercises, it's like anything else. The more you do it, the more I'm thinking about weightlifting right now. The more you do it, the more weights you're able to lift. If you were just starting out and trying to lift, an entire bar of weights or something, it's going to be really difficult to do that. Same thing is kind of true with this, that if you get hit with something that triggers you really badly, it may be difficult to get into that state. So that's why we're practicing this. So yes, I also would agree or resonate with the fact when you get really triggered with something, that it's difficult to get into that good feeling state. That's why we want to practice these things when we're not feeling triggered. So the more we're building those neural pathways, the more we're building this activity, it becomes a go-to, as opposed to, oh, now I need to lift this weight and I haven't been practicing.
Yeah.
I hope that makes some sense.
Thank you, Steve. That's great. Yes. And then someone else says, what to do, put on the post-it, do exercise. I love to do it as I'm going to sleep. Very good. Yes, it's a powerful thing to do as you're going to sleep, because you're setting your chemical state in a feel-good state for the night as well. That's great that you're doing that as you're going to sleep. And as for what to put on the post-it, you could put anything there, that as long as it will remind you. So you could do exercise, but what I would put is something like I love you, or a smiley face, something that will make you smile. Or you can put the name of your subject or the name of your color. So you could write purple, or kitty cat, or whatever it is on that post-it note. So hopefully that gives you an idea. And she says, I also have a picture of my animal as my screensaver on my laptop, and lock screen on my iPhone, and my color as a background. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. So hopefully everyone got that that idea, so you can use it as well. So a picture of your animal or your subject, whatever your subject is, on as your screensaver on your laptop, and the lock screen on your phone, and your favorite color as the background color. Thank you so much for sharing that. Very good. Is it possible to overdo it at first? I tend to hold negative emotions in my chest and notice the resurgence of some physical sensations that I don't have a good connotation with. Okay, so thank you for that question. So is it possible to overdo it at first? I think it is, just like it's possible to overdo physical exercise. Anything where you are changing your physiology, where you're changing your body, it's good to be sensitive to or aware of that. So the holding of negative emotions in your chest means that you're getting a lot of effects of the stress chemicals there. So I would say start, do it gently. As soon as you start to feel those physical sensations that you don't have a good connotation with, stop and imagine, just imagine the color surrounding you. Just go back to being surrounded by the color, gently, gently, and then try that a little bit again. Imagine holding the person or animal or whoever your subject is in your arms in a hug, and just do it gently. So like you were lifting a weight that is a bit heavy, you're going to the next level. So you start lifting the weight, and you do a few reps, and when it gets to the point where it's uncomfortable, where it's starting to hurt, you put the weight down, you take a break. You let your muscles recover, and then you come back. And that's the way to see this. So, it's good to take a break. But when you take a break, it's key to choose where you're putting your focus while you're taking that break, because that will do more than pushing yourself to do the exercise. So
yeah, I was just going to say that taking a break doesn't mean jump back in and watching something negative or doing something that's allowing the negative thoughts to come back,
or feeling bad about the fact that you couldn't do it, or anything like that. So choose where your focus is going in every moment, and especially during those breaks. So you do the exercise and you find it's uncomfortable, physically uncomfortable, or that you couldn't manage to do it, or whatever it is. Decide, right, I'm taking a break, and then do the favorite color thing, or put on some music you love, or look for 5 things to be grateful for, that kind of thing. Do whatever, you play a game or watch something, some comedy, do something that feels good. So everything, you're always aiming for what feels good, because when you're aiming for what feels good, you're producing the feel good chemicals that are going to benefit you. So hopefully that answers your question. If not, of course, just let us know in the chat. Says thanks. Okay, good. All right. So any other questions before we level up? Okay. So of course, if anything else comes up, just unmute yourself or wave your hand or put it in the chat. And Steve, will you page through the participants to keep an eye? Because I only see one page here. All right, very good. So what we're going to do today is, yesterday we leveled up to fill all the cells of the body with that feeling, with that light and that energy. Okay, and hopefully you were able to practice that over the last 24 hours. Today, we're going to take that level of that beginning level of self-love. So filling the cells of the body was the start of loving yourself in a sneaky way. So you kind of trick yourself into loving yourself, because your cells make up you. So now we're going to take that a little bit further, because again, how we feel about ourselves affects how we experience the world. It affects everything. It affects how we experience other people and the way they treat us, and how we experience all the events and conditions we are living through. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine your favorite color. Think of your favorite color and imagine being surrounded by that beautiful color, that beautiful shade of that color. And feel the feeling of that gorgeous color surrounding you. Very good. And now I want you to think of your subject and imagine holding that person, animal, place, or activity in your arms in a hug. Focus on all the things you love about that subject and the connection between you. And now put your focus on your heart and the feeling in your heart of love and appreciation for this subject. And now I want you to feel that physical feeling of expansion. Your heart, the light or energy in your heart growing and shining brightly. And now spreading down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that beautiful light, that energy, that love and appreciation. And now there are 50 trillion cells that make up your body. I want you to fill each of those cells with that same light or energy, that love and appreciation. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. And now I want you to imagine yourself as a child, any age, in front of you. And I want you to give that little you a hug. Imagine hugging that little you and tell that little you how much you love them. Very good. And you can open your eyes. And how is that for everyone? So the people who are on camera, if you give me a nod if that was good for you. Okay, very good. Anybody who, if it wasn't good for you, you shake your head. No? Okay, very good. So someone says, very nice. I love how this feels. I feel a shift, definitely. That's wonderful to hear. Thank you for sharing that. That's great. So this is your assignment from now until tomorrow morning. We'll do it again in a minute, but this is your assignment from now until tomorrow morning. I also want to let you know that you can find all of the recordings of these sessions and all of the MP3 guides of these little exercises on that page that we shared with you, the link, and we'll put the link in the, perhaps Steve can put that, Steve, if you can put that link in the chat as well, and we'll put it in the, when we share the video, the link to the resources, the emotional fitness training resources page on our website. So on that page, there's day 1, day 2, and of course after today there will be day 3, and we've got there already the download of the little MP3 audio guide of these exercises for each day and the recording of these sessions for each day. So you can go back and you can use the audio guide to practice this exercise until it's just automatic, until you know it well enough. Oh, so somebody says the image was much stronger today, and then the image was like being inside a force field. Yes, that's fabulous. Well done. And again, the more you do it, the stronger that will get. So good job. Well done. And if you are going anywhere or going to be dealing with anything, so I don't mean going anywhere physically necessarily. I mean, it could be you're going out food shopping, or you may just be meeting with someone online or anything like that. You can do what we call pre-paving. In other words, before you know you're going to interact with someone or something or go somewhere, do this exercise first. Get into this state. Imagine hugging the little you, and then allow it, think of where you're going or who you're going to be dealing with, and keep that state going as much as you can. And then when you go into the situation, so you do go out to the shops, or you're online with someone or whatever, see if you can maintain that state, and you'll notice a big difference in your encounters with the world around you.
Odile, one question. My chat is staying off Facebook.
My challenge is staying off Facebook. I see that. Yes. So what the first question I would ask is why you want to stay off Facebook. So while you answer that, I'll answer the question itself. So because the reason for staying off of Facebook will also affect how I answer that question. But in the first instance, the very brief answer, without knowing much, without knowing more details, is that wherever we're putting our focus determines where we're going. So if you want to stay off Facebook for whatever reason, the key is to not think about it. And I know that seems challenging, but it's replacing it with something else and thinking of that instead. So I have a lot of friends on there, and many are talking nonstop about the virus. Okay, yes, I get that. So it's kind of like the news then in that case. Fair enough. So then what I would say is, whenever you think of going onto Facebook, so you know, if there are other reasons you want to go on Facebook, like you do want to connect with people and that, then it would be about addressing your reaction to the virus situation and those items. But if you really just don't want to bother with Facebook at all, then it's replace it with something else. I can get into the love state first. Absolutely. So yes, so get into the love state first, and then go on Facebook, but very importantly, ignore any posts about the virus. So when you see virus, that don't need that, and look for the happy stuff and post happy stuff. Post thing, you know, perhaps before you go onto Facebook, in fact, get into that love state first, as you suggested, then go onto YouTube or another site where there are, you know, Pinterest or something like that, where they share uplifting, you know, things that, you know, either posts, memes or posters that with inspiring stuff, or inspiring YouTube videos. So, you know, Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, or, you know, whoever you follow, and share. So go to Facebook with a reason, with a mission to share one thing at least that is happy and positive, because then you're not going there to see what's there, you're going there to put something there. And then, as I say, you know, follow it. So, you know, check the posts and scroll past anything that's not. And here's a very big key as well. As soon as you find yourself triggered, so let's say you go to Facebook and you share something, and then you're scrolling thing, you're doing, and then you see an item or a post and you start to feel triggered, immediately look away and go and do something happy. So go and put on some music, watch some comedy, practice the little exercise, do whatever it takes to get back into a feel-good state, and don't come back until you are in that state. So hopefully that helps. Then I'll be attracted to positive posts. Exactly. So if you get into the feel love state first, you will be attracted. It'll change where your reticular activator is focused. So well done. Yes. And then someone else says, so if my fear is me or my workers getting the virus, since we're in the front line, how would you suggest I use this process? That is such a powerful question. Thank you very much. So in the first instance, pre-paving. So before you go to, do it first thing in the morning anyway, do it as much as possible, but definitely before you go to your place of work, and whenever you think of before you think about your place of work and your workers and all of that, the idea is to maintain that state of love as much as possible. You want to end up spending most of your time feeling those feelings of love. So because we're human, we all get triggered, we all feel negative emotions. That's just part of being human. But the trick is, the goal is to make sure that most of the time you're feeling good, and then the negative stuff is a much smaller portion. Then it's easier to maintain your strong state. So when you think about, so get into that state first. And then when you think about yourself or your workers getting ill or contracting the virus, maintain that state and cover your workers and yourself in that color. Imagine it as a protective bubble that's protecting you. And that will, now obviously that's not a literal, well, it depends. You know, on an energetic level, it can be a protective thing. But if that's not your, you know, if you don't believe in that kind of thing, that's okay, because at the very least, it will boost your own immune system, because it will keep the stress chemicals down and keep the feel-good chemicals up, and it will affect your cognitive thinking. So you'll be making wiser decisions and so on. So I hope that helps. And again, the more you practice it, the easier and the stronger it will get. And then you'll find that you're going to your place of work on the front line in that state, and you will find everything easier. Now it's a difficult state to be in, but I mean position to be in, but this will make it easier. So I hope that helps, and thank you for the work you're doing. Next one is, I do that too and have a lot of positive posts to share. I think the thing is for me to get into a good state so I won't be drawn into the negative posts. Absolutely, yes. So that's perfect, spot on. Pre-pave, and pre-pave before you do anything. So, you know, in addition to Facebook, before you, you know, speak to people online, or you go out shopping, or anything at all. It's really very, very powerful. And again, the more you do it, the easier it is. Next one says, I find focusing on this virus keeps me feeling helpless. So I don't watch anything to do with the pandemic. It's too negative. Yes, and you're not alone. And that's a wise decision. What I would add to that is, whenever you know, use this exercise to start conditioning yourself out of the negative connection to the virus and stuff. So it's, think of it as, here you go, I've got an idea. Think of it as a one of those suits, you know, the PPEs that health workers are wearing. So there's another name for them, those suits that protect you. So think of this state, the state of love, with the color and the light, as an emotional or energetic protection suit. So you want to make sure that you've got your suit on before you go anywhere. And creating that suit is a process. So unlike the real suit where you just put it on, in this case, you're actually creating it energetically and chemically. So that's why you don't want to go into the hazmat suits. Thank you. Yes, that's it. Hazmat suit. So, you know, you want to be sure that your hazmat suit is completely created and in place before you expose yourself to any negative posts. And the way you'll know that is when you feel strong, you feel in a good state, and when you think about it. So without going anywhere near it, you think about a negative post or a negative situation, and you are able to maintain that feel-good state. Then you know, okay, my hazmat suit is now working, and I'm able to, you know, to go back into Facebook or whatever. And again, make sure as soon as there's a leak in your hazmat suit, in other words, you start to feel triggered, pull away, mend the leak first, and then come back to it. So hopefully that's a good analogy. Thank you, Adil. I agree. Thank you. Very helpful. Good. Could you use that hazmat suit as being in a blanket of my chosen color? Absolutely. Yes, indeed. That's a good idea. So yes, so it doesn't have to be the white ones. It can be whatever your color, whatever color you love, whatever your favorite color is. That's a beautiful idea. So thank you very much. Yes. Cool. All right. So, I like that hazmat idea now. I think that's a great idea. So any other questions before we go through the exercise one more time? Does everyone feel that you're able to practice these exercises now, and especially moving forward? Good, very good. I'm glad to hear it. All right then. And also remember that the answer to everything, no matter what's going on around you. So we're all, you know, we're worried about people that are, at risk and so on. And whenever so choose your, again, choose your focus. So when you catch yourself worrying about someone, immediately put your hazmat suit on and send love to them. Put a hazmat suit on them as well. So send that love, surround them with that protection. And again, you know, depending on your beliefs, that is a thing, that energy can be used to protect. But even if it's not, let's take the energy thing out of it, at the very least it's doing is making sure that you are in your best state to be able to help anyone else, because you'll be thinking clearly, you'll think of options, solutions. If somebody suddenly comes to you and says, I need help, you'll be on it because you'll be feeling good, and your cognitive thinking will be online. So your focus is to maintain your strength. So you can also think of yourself as a superhero. You know, so Superman, if he was sitting around feeling bad about himself or worrying about people, he wouldn't get much done, right? So he's got that, he's strong, and then he can help other people. And we are the same. Emotionally, the goal is to get strong yourself, and then you can help others, because you can't give what you don't have. So I hope that helps. So, you know, because a lot of us can feel very helpless, you know, in a situation, especially where there's other people are in trouble, and that you can have that helpless feeling, and you want to change that to a feeling of strength. So if you don't know what you can do to help, you can send love. All right. So if there's something you can do physically, of course, do that. Absolutely do what you can physically. But if you cannot do something physically to change something, then send love. All right. So we've got some more questions. So glad I could join in today. Me too. Your example of the suit is so perfectly symbolic to keep myself and workers safe. I'm so happy to hear that. Very, very good. Funny, Clark Kent putting on his hazmat suit as Superman. Yes, there you go. Excellent. All right, so let's, excellent session. Thanks so much. You're very, very welcome. And so
Odile, just before you hop into that, another idea, I know that we're making these recordings. Yes. We're putting up a separate playlist on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
So please feel free to share these as positive things on Facebook as well.
Absolutely.
So sharing the link to the playlist so that people have the recordings in succession.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Steve. And so for those of you on Facebook, what I'll do is I'll share, once we've done that playlist, I'll share the link of the playlist to my own page and to the groups, and then you could share it from there if you would like to inspire, provide it for others as well. All right. Okay, so let's do this exercise one more time now. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and start thinking of your favorite color. And imagine being surrounded by that beautiful color, and feel the feeling of that color. And turn it into a hazmat suit. That beautiful color as a hazmat suit. And now think of your subject and imagine holding that person, animal, place, or activity in your arms in a hug. And feel that feeling of love in your chest, that physical feeling. Think of all the things you love about this person, animal, place, or activity. And now imagine that feeling in your heart as a ball of light or energy. And imagine it spreading down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. And now imagine that light or energy filling each of the trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. And now imagine yourself as a child, any age, standing in front of you. and give that little you a hug. Hold them tightly and tell them how much you love them, how perfect they are exactly as they are. Feel that love and imagine that hazmat suit protecting the both of you. Very good. You can open your eyes. And how was that? Let us know in the chat or unmute yourself if you'd like to. And of course, let us know any questions before we end as well. So any questions you have or any clarification you need, any challenges with doing the exercise or anything else. So the idea of this, while we're waiting for the questions, I just want to say that what we're building to here, so tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to level up again. We're going to add another piece to this exercise, and then Friday we'll do the same. Now, if we keep getting this amount of participants, I'm thrilled with the number of people who are attending, and if we keep getting this much interest and people still want it, we will continue next week. Again, the Monday to Friday, good, and each day, what we'll do, so by Friday we'll have leveled up to the top level, and then for next week, each day we'll be helping you to address specific issues. So for example, you may come one day and say, oh, I'm having a challenge, this happened and I don't, I'm struggling with it. We will all aim at that. So we will all, everybody, so this is like a community, and we help each other to become stronger and more empowered to deal with real life issues. All right. So hopefully that will be helpful. We say, thank you so much. You're very welcome. And that would be so helpful. Thank you. Fantastic. Well, we love doing this kind of thing. And so we just want to make sure that, that there's a call for it, that people want it, and we're very happy to do it. All right, everyone. So what a pleasure to see all your faces. And those of you who don't have your cameras on, it's lovely to see your little boxes there that we know you're there anyway. Wonderful. And you're very generous and loving. Thank you. Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. All right. Beautiful. Thank you for loving us so much to share this wonderful exercise to help us. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. It's such a pleasure. All right, everyone, look after yourselves, practice the little exercise, and for the next 24 hours, we'll see you again tomorrow, same place, same time. And again, remember, we have the room open 15 minutes before the session starts for anyone who wants to arrive early and chat and connect with each other.
Bring your coffee and something positive to share.
Yes, but even if you don't have something to share, you're still welcome to arrive early and benefit from others.
Absolutely.
Or if you've got anything else you'd like to share. All right, lots of love to all of you, and well done, everybody. I'm very proud of you all. Bye-bye now.
Bye for now.